Now we will show you a live demonstration of the platform. We're going to start off with making a REST call to our decision service from an application. Here we are using a demo web application for insurance, where we want to use rules to calculate a yearly premium for a customer. When I press Get Premium, our web application is configured to make a REST call to our decision service with the customer data and asset information as input. The decision service will validate the data, execute the rules, and return a result. This is InRule, our main authoring tool. The rules in your rule application are configured around your entity model. This can also be referred to as your data model. Either you can add entities and fields manually, or they can be imported from an external system like a database schema, XML schema, .NET assembly, JSON snippet, or another rule application. Now, let's take a look at the rules section of InRule. All the rules are organized in folders and subfolders and grouped into rule sets, with each rule set containing rules. Before I can make changes to my rule application, I need to check it out of the catalog. As you can see by this lock symbol, the rule application is currently checked in. I will start by getting the latest changes and then check out my rule application, and now we can see that the lock symbol has been changed to a check mark. This check mark says that the rule application is checked out, and now I'm able to make changes. Within the authoring tool, there are multiple different ways of authoring rules. The first one we will take a look at is by using decision tables. Decision tables are condition and action-based matrices. So based on the value of each of these conditions, we will set the value of this field. Within our decision tables, we have an auto-generate function, which will automatically generate as many scenarios needed for your conditions, actions, and the possible values within them. It also has built-in integrity function, so you make sure that all of the scenarios are covered. You can also add rules using syntax, and this is an example setting the value of the field tax rate by using expressions. Within the authoring tool, we have an expression editor with over 250 different functions for different data types. The rule we'll be adding today is a language rule. This uses a natural language syntax and is backed up by built-in templates. We're going to create a if-then rule where we have two different conditions resulting in two actions. First, I'm going to state that if all of the following are true, which will allow me to write multiple conditions. The first condition I'm going to check for is the value of the state that we pass in. I'm going to say if the state has a value of Florida, and the second condition I'm going to check for is the inception date. I'm going to add if the inception date is equal to this year, and that's going to be our condition. In our language rule, this is represented as a single sentence, but behind that sentence, we actually have an expression, and this is called vocabulary. Vocabulary is where you can customize your decision logic using your domain business language and terminology. If we take a look at this vocabulary, it's called year of inception date. Within our rule, what we see is the inception date is equal to this year. But behind there's actually an expression comparing the year of the inception date that we pass in to the year of the date right now. And this is a very powerful way of writing complex expressions or calculations, but having them presented in a way that's more readable and business-friendly. Now we will add the actions to our rules. The first action I want to add is that I want to set the value of a field. The field that I want to change is the field state modifier. I want to set it to a value of 1.3, increasing the value. I'm also going to fire a notification that will be displayed for the user. Within IRAuthor, there's built-in validation, so you can make sure that the rule application is written in an executable way. There's also a built-in testing tool called IR Verify. When I press Apply Rules, the rules will be executed, and we can see that our entity model has been filled in with more values. We can see that the field state modifier has been set to 1.3 because we did pass in a state from Florida and an inception date that is sometime during this year. We can also see a summary of our rule execution, so the number of rule sets fired, rules evaluated, and a total execution time. We can also see that our notification has been fired. When we've tested our rule, it's time to check our rule application back into the catalog. When checking your rule application back into the catalog, you always have the option of adding a comment. When you check this in, it will create a new revision of our rule application. Now I'll go back to our web application and see the results of our newly added rule. I'll use the same data as input, so now when I press Get Premium, we'll call the decision service again, but we'll use the latest revision of our rule application. And here we can see the results. Our state modifier has been set to 1.3, our notification is displayed, and we have a result of a higher yearly premium.